looking back on the memories of the past in black and white. He was born between fields, the ocean. His granddad on his father's side was a farmer, and on his mother's, a fisherman. His first memories are from fields of trees and fishing nets from the sea, from Hammond floaters to the port. And in his home, the smell of white bread and the feeling of love, a sensation of that the time has stopped. He misses the Alicante he knew and the Costa Blanca with its happiness. We are talking about life. He was a simple guy. He didn't need more than looking over horizon of the sea and the heaven. I turned to the Salt Lakes in Torrevieja. So where do I start to talk about Costa Blanca? Organize the memories. From north to south, from heat to cold, from work to play, from disaster to happiness. Memories of so many villages, so many fiestas.
Cuyo nombre es Ciudad de Alicante, ha comenzado a prestar servicio entre Madrid y la hermosa población levantina. Tiene capacidad para 100 pasajeros y marcha a una velocidad de 900 kilómetros por hora, lo cual quiere decir que la por antonomasia playa de Madrid ha sido situada a media hora aproximadamente de la Puerta del Sol.
He remembers the first bicycle and motorcycle race in Alicante. Target shooting and the horse race, more popular for the rich people, and the sailing competitions along the coast. The football. Always remembers the match between Alcoy and Valencia. And the attraction to the villages. Like the famous painter Sorolla, that fell in love with the small town of Habitat. Not only Habitat, also Alcoy. Ed. Elche. Crevillente. And Benidorm. He has seen them change from what they were to what they are today. Alicante, with the electric trolley bus, the street light that ran on gas, illuminating the Sear front already in 1912. Busy Alicante with trolleys and wagons, with noise from the car engines. There were over 200 cars running around in 1921. Alicante is a natural port with the railway connecting La Mancha and Andalusia. With the modernized equipment we can see a big difference. It changes year after year, month after month. This was the town for their dreams, and their Sundays when they left the villages to go to the big Alicante. Palm trees and blue dresses. The town with promises and future. An attraction for tourism. Alicante had everything to become popular for tourism. You just had to value its beaches, nature and its essence. Be able to look out on the sea and wave for the future. The start of a future that would spread all over the Costa Blanca. This is the town of palm trees and lovely beaches. It is so full you have to swim in turns. And take care so you don't lose your children. You can ask yourself if they couldn't change the so hot noisy month of August to have your holidays in the winter time with calm beaches. And spread the holiday throughout the year. Is that too much to ask? And see Mag resolve on her selected place for her summer holiday. Province of Alicante. We find happy that is one of the many towns to enjoy your holiday. Here you find tourists from the whole world between the palm trees. This is what made this known as a place for tourism. There is a network of leaflets and photos to let you choose your destination. It is the place for swimming and exploring its big beaches and hidden bays. Fusion of sun cream and vanilla ice cream. But this is not the ocean. Not the whole ocean. This blue blanket that we live off. That so many times made us capsize. The old ladies with the black dresses that he knew as a child said, "This is not the sea only of illusions. It could also make you scared." In 1930, his granddad was one of the 800 living on the island Tabarca. The fishermen left 2 o'clock in the morning and didn't come home before late afternoon, recovering their fishing nets. They caught the almadraba for a lousy salary. He remembers the food on board: squid, or fish with rice, which they prepared on the boat. At home you had to eat every day. He remembers his mother looking out on the sea, looking for the boats coming back from the African coast. It could take months. They didn't only bring fish, they smuggled packets of tobacco, flintstones and gin, and sometimes they had to throw it overboard not to be caught, recover it at a later stage. His granddad told him that the customs took what they could find and kept it themselves. While the guys were at sea, the women were making hemp shoes and bags. And they repaired fishing nets to late evenings, get some extra money to support the family. In the middle of the night the fishing boats was coming back. And in the early morning they had a fish auction. They didn't only depend on the fish. The harbor was important for the local economy. Giant ships turned up with wood and a lot of work was going on in the port. He learned a lot from his father's dad. To look upon the sky to recognize the drought and the time to harvest. He told him how to understand the nature and love what the land can give us. He always looked out for his kids and his land. But it was always a hard time for the farming and the fishing. And the hunger was tough in the towns. The industry helped a lot of people and families. People searching for a future. Fabrication of Christmas sweets. toys and textiles, the fabrication of salt. Women and children were looking for work in the factories. Alicante was a highly advanced industrial town that helped a lot of people. Here you had a giant production of cloth and textiles. Alicante was known for the making of carpets. Next to them, Leona and Eve produced the Christmas sweets and the toys. Alicante became important in the land stock been measured in hectares and was measured in square meters to be integrated in the property market. In 1930, important factories were funded in Alicante. They were producing gas masks and presses. Behind the flaming industry, the life was hard, with low salaries and long hours, just like Spain today. A lot of unemployment and insecurity. Had to work hard in an unsafe environment and abusingly long hours. Workers had to create their own security, building up help funds that they paid into, with a small amount weekly. But the urban life continued, ignoring reality. Grand hotel and the theater was built. Local people used to go to the summer theater, to the cinema, or walk around the city visiting the casino. bars and restaurants. Listening to the concerts by the local bands, enjoying the local beaches. And not only in Alicante. People from the surrounding towns took the trains into the cities and enjoyed the local markets. From the 1920s, towns grew to what they are today. Alicante created new areas. With the post office and hospitals, like the Esplanade and the new bus station in 1944. They made the square with the civil government, tax office and the church. The most miraculous was the building of council houses for the middle class, sold for only £300. There were two different environments. One alive, and the one in progress. And then it was the rain season, with flooding rivers and streets. He remembers the floods in Vega Baja. 1946, Alicante turned into a catastrophic area. Streets and houses were underwater. Boats were the only usable vehicle. Even as an ambulance, trucks and cars were used to bring help to affected areas. Disasters affected the industry and the farming, made the dictator Franco turn up. For the local people, that was enough for celebration. The people took to the streets out of curiosity. It was extraordinary to have the authorities visiting the town. This made the town to be spoken of in the newspaper and the radio. Franco turned up in Orihuela to see the destruction that the flood had created. In 1949, Franco visited the civil government in Alicante. Life in Alicante was always outside in the streets, with fireworks and parties. Would look for any excuse to go out. This local happiness has been going on for years. Even Alfonso XIII visited the town in 1901, and in 1912. Kids would climb up in trees to see the procession with wagons and palm leaves. The waving from the balcony when the king saluted the people. In 1939, he was 7 years old. He was born between bombs and sirens. But he doesn't want to remember that. The war was over and the dictator won over the republic. Thanks to help from Mussolini and Hitler that used Spain to test out their new bombs, preparing for the World War II. The national troops had achieved their object. For him it was only words, happenings that gets lost in the dark side of the memories. Could only feel and lit the hunger. Nothing more. He didn't know what the extended arm meant. Didn't understand why his mom was crying, or why he didn't get news from his father in years. Those were sad years, and he don't want to remember them. But one thing marked him. Jose Antonio, a Republican, was condemned and shot. Would mark the city badly.
Despite 40 years of democracy, the spectres of Francoism still stalk the corridors of power.
Lazos afectivos, lazos emocionales.
The right hasn't completely cut ties with Francoism. It still has sentimental, emotional links, ideological and psychological links. Even if, and let's be clear about it, no one wants to bring back Francoism. It's over. But there's a sector of society that doesn't want to draw the relevant conclusions.
Las consecuencias operativas.
North of Madrid, in the Valley of the Fallen, there's a giant basilica containing Franco's tomb. Built on the orders of the dictator by Republican prisoners, it pays tribute to those killed on both sides during the Civil War. Beneath this giant cross lie the bodies of more than 33,000 people, most of them Republicans. The monument's become a rallying point for Franco's admirers, particularly on November the 20th, the anniversary of the caudillo's death.
It's the least we can do to thank the caudillo for the Spain he left us. Look at the state Spain is in today. When he was here, even if I didn't live back then, but from what I know and what older people have told me, the Franco era was the best period Spain has ever known.
The 2007 historical memory law intended the basilica to be depoliticised, but old habits die hard. Fascist songs and salutes are banned outside the monument, but not inside. It's just one example of the weakness of the law that aimed to recognise the dictatorship's crimes.
Alicante. The province of Alicante offers you a great variation of places to visit. Alicante is the capital and you can get here by flight, high-speed train or car.